Alright, hey guys, it's Shadow here with an Elite Dangerous Bounty Hunting tutorial video. So today we're going to be taking a look at the loadout of your ship, and we're going to be looking at things like what ship should you use, and more importantly, we're going to be taking a look at the type of places you should bounty hunt, and what kind of ships you should be going after, depending on what ship you're in. So first of all, since we're here docked in the starport, let's take a look at what ship we're using, and let's take a look at the loadout on that ship. Okay, so opening up the starport services here, you can see that I'm currently using a Vulture. Now, the Vulture is the ship that I heartily recommend for really any bounty hunter. Whether you're a novice or whether you have quite a lot of experience, a Vulture is a very impressive bounty hunting ship, to say the least. So, but let's start with the equipment that I'm currently using on this ship, and later on we might go over what equipment would be good for someone just starting out. Maybe you can't afford a Vulture yet, so we'll take a look at that sort of thing. But right now, let's go over what I'm using on this ship. So we'll start with the weapons. Now, the Vulture is a very small fighter. Well, it's a very large fighter, but a very small ship. So what you get with it are 2 Class 3 hardpoints. That's large weapons, and that's good, but that's all you get. So you need to make the most of what you get. So what I find is the most bang for the buck weapon that you can put in your Vulture are C3 beam lasers, C-rated Class 3 beam lasers. A beam laser fires continuously, but the downside to it is that it has a very long recharge time. Or the interval between when you actually fire the weapon is quite long. But there are things you can do to shorten that, and we'll get to that in a minute. So, for our weapons, we have the C3 beam laser. Now, for defense, since this is a small craft, I mean, you need some defense against missiles and stuff. So, point defense will take care of that. And then for anything else, you have your chaff launcher. Now, since we're talking about bounty hunting, it's important to point out that I have a kill warrant scanner on this ship. If you are bounty hunting and you take down somebody who is wanted in the system in which you killed them, yeah, you'll get the bounty for that system, and that's good. But if you scan them with your kill warrant scanner, not only will you get the bounty that's out for them in your system, but you will get any other bounty associated with that target. So let's take a look at the internal hardpoints now. So let's go back to when we were talking about the beam lasers first. So the beam lasers naturally have a very long recharge time, so we want to cut that down as much as possible. So that's what our power distributor is for. The power distributor handles things like how long it takes your shields to recharge, how long it takes your weapons to recharge. If we're using beam lasers, obviously we want to make them recharge as quickly as possible. So our power coupler or our power distributor is in a Class 5 socket, or a Class 5 compartment. So we want to put in the best one we can. So we're going to put in the A-rated power distributor, the A5 power distributor, basically. When you're doing bounty hunting, you are going to be in combat situations all the time, so your ship needs to be able to take as much of a beating as possible, and that means immediately what should come to mind is you want the best shields that you can possibly get, which is why we have an A5 shield generator on here, and you want decently good armor on your ship too, which is why we have the military grade composite hull upgrade, and that's also why we have a hull reinforcement package to add some extra structural stability to take a little bit of a beating. Now, With the A5 shield generator on here, your shields are probably not going to go down all that often if you're doing something other than bounty hunting and hazardous resource extraction sites. So this is really just a safety measure, as is the life support upgrade. Now, if you are using this ship primarily for bounty hunting, you can also do what I've done here and just remove any extraneous pieces of equipment. Like, you don't really need a cargo rack if you're bounty hunting. What cargo are you going to carry? You're just going out, blowing up some ships, coming back, and cashing in your bounty vouchers. You also don't need a basic discovery scanner, which every ship comes with. We have a frameshift drive interdictor on here, and that's for one reason. Now, sometimes you'll be in a spaceport, and you will go onto the bulletin board, and you'll see like assassination contracts, or you'll see like eliminate this target or that target, blah blah blah. Well, a lot of times when you accept a contract like that, and then you go to locate that target, they'll just be flying around in super cruise. And then how do you engage that target and destroy them? Well, that's where the frameshift drive interdictor comes in. So that's why I have it on this ship, but am I using it all the time? No, so I just keep things that I'm not using all the time off, and then they don't count against my maximum power draw. But definitely the most important things I would say are upgrade your power plant, upgrade your hull, upgrade your shields, and probably put a hull reinforcement package on there. Yeah. And in terms of weapons, if there are better weapons than C-rated Class 3 gimbaled beam lasers for Class 3 hardpoints, I haven't come across them. They may be out there, but I don't know what they are, and I've looked. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for the loadout of the Vulture. Now, if you're flying a smaller ship, like let's say you've just started the game and you have a Sidewinder at the moment, you need to ditch that Sidewinder as soon as possible and upgrade to at least an Eagle. Your Eagle is going to have 3 Class 1 hardpoints. So that Class 1 is small, it's the smallest you can get. But it does have 3, and it actually comes with 2 pulse lasers, which is good, but that leaves a 3rd hardpoint empty. Now, pulse lasers are, well, lasers in general are good at taking down shields, not so good at taking out hulls, except for the C3 gimbaled beam laser, which is really good at taking out hulls because it's so big. And if you have 2 of them, like on the Vulture, well, then you're pretty much set. That's really all you need. But for a smaller ship like this, I would stick with those 2 pulse lasers. Well, in fact, I'm a big fan of gimbaled weapons myself. So what you might want to do if you are thinking about purchasing this Eagle, and Eagles are very cheap. You can see right here they're only 44,000 credits, so you should easily be able to afford an Eagle. But what you would want to do is stick with these 2 pulse lasers here, or since the pulse lasers that it comes with are fixed weapons, meaning they can't track a target, switch them out for 2 gimbaled pulse lasers, and then add in a 3rd weapon. I'm partial to the multi-cannon myself, so I would go with 2 gimbaled pulse lasers and 1 gimbaled multi-cannon, and I would stick the 2 pulse lasers on the bottom of the Eagle here, and then I would stick the multi-cannon on the top. This is where the hard points are. Now, if you have a little more, let's see if we can. Here we go. The Viper Mark III is also an excellent bounty hunting craft. Your Viper Mark III comes with 2 medium hardpoints and 2 small hardpoints. Now that's pretty good. So for this craft, Your 2 medium hard points are immediately filled with 2 fixed pulse lasers. Now I would change that out a little bit. What I would do is I would get rid of these medium pulse lasers, and I would purchase 2 small gimbaled pulse lasers, exactly the same as we just did for the Eagle. And for your 2 medium hard points, I would stick on 2 gimbaled multi-cannons. That's going to give you some very good ability to take down shields, and that's going to give you some amazing ability to take out hulls and subsystems and things. So, now that we're done talking about loadouts, let's actually go take a look at what kind of places are good to bounty hunt. Okay, now that we're out of the space station, yeah, here we go. Now we can see that right here, very close to the space station, there are 3 resource extraction sites. There are 2 high yield sites, and there's 1 hazardous site. Now, let me break this down. Hazardous will actually be your most profitable site to go to, but I do not recommend going there unless you have at least a Python. You can take something like the vulture that I have into a hazardous resource extraction site and come out alive, but will you come out with a lot of money before you're forced to leave and go repair your ship? Not most of the time. 90% of the time you're going to just get the hell beat out of you and have to retreat. So what I recommend doing is going to the high resource sites, or resource extraction sites. So bounty hunting can sometimes involve a minor amount of exploration, and what I mean is that there are very profitable areas to bounty hunt, and there are some not so profitable areas to bounty hunt. An example of a not so profitable area to bounty hunt is something like a nav beacon. Now, yeah, sometimes you'll find a wanted ship in a nav beacon and you can destroy it and collect a bounty voucher for that particular ship. Yeah, that can happen and that can work out, but what's near that nav beacon? Nothing really. The nearest space stations are usually hundreds of light seconds away, and that's very inefficient when you want to go in there, destroy a couple ships, and go cash in and come back and do the same thing. What you want to look for are systems where, well, in fact, let's just go to the system map, and we can just very easily see what to look for. So, about 80% of the time, I've found you will see, or when you see a gas giant with a big ring around it like this, just like Kauhua 2 here, there will be resource extraction points in these ring segments here. Now, when there are resource extraction points in the ring segments, and you have a space station that's somewhere between 1 and 4 light seconds from that planet, that's an ideal place to go to bounty hunt. It's a short trip from the space station to your bounty hunting destination and back, and what that means is you can just go into these rings, rack up kills, come back, cash in, and go back over that process again. So that is really the kind of place you want to look for. So let's actually head to the resource extraction site now, and then we'll take a look at what kind of ships it will be profitable to hunt.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Okay, here we are arriving at our resource extraction site. Now, we're just going to head toward the nav marker for a minute, and eventually we'll get a radar contact popping up at some point. And since we're here to bounty hunt, let's just go ahead and deploy our hard points right now. Okay, yeah, there we go. Now we have a radar contact, so let's head for that. Okay, and immediately, an anaconda. Now, if you're in a ship with a similar or identical loadout to mine, You can take this Anaconda on your own. But if you are in anything smaller than the Vulture, I wouldn't recommend engaging this ship on your own. Now, it's important also to note the amount of ships in an enemy wing. So, this Anaconda is by itself, but let's target this Fer-de-Lance again. Now, actually, a Fer-de-Lance I have found is the most profitable ship you can destroy. But if you note, this ship is in a wing of 3 ships. So since we're by ourselves out here, until we've scanned each ship in its wing to see what it is and see how big of a threat it is, it really is not a good idea to just engage a ship that's in a wing on your own. However, the Anaconda, we should be able to take just fine. Now, before we actually engage this Anaconda, we're going to use our kill warrant scanner on it, and we have to be with the E-rated kill warrant scanner. We have to be within 2 kilometers to scan it, but that's fine. So we can easily get within 2 kilometers. Okay, so now that we've scanned it, and we can see that it's not in a wing, we're not going to be aggroing additional ships when we engage this. What's the best way to take down an Anaconda? Well, first what you want to do is make sure you're targeting its power plant. So if I take out a ship's power plant, it's useless, it's dead in space. The next thing I want to do is make sure I have all available power directed to my weapons system, and the second highest amount of power directed to my defensive systems, like my shields. Once I've done that, I'm ready to engage it. And so that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, now I've destroyed his power plant, so he's just going to be dead in space. You see his hull is still at 70%, so I'm just going to have to blast him for a while and eventually it'll explode. But he can't shoot back at me right now. There he goes.
Target destroyed.
Okay. So for about a minute and a half worth of work, we've just made 121,117 credits. That's pretty good, I think. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the space station that we started at, which is not very far away, and then we're going to cash in that bounty.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Okay, so here we are back at our space station, so now all we have to do is dock.
Docking request granted.
This facility requests that all pilots observe safe speeds.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
Okay, so once we're back, all we have to do is open up the starport services, then we go into contacts, and then under the section called bounties, we just redeem all bounty vouchers. And since that's the only one we have, bam, just made 121,000 credits in like 5 minutes. And that's pretty much it. That's really all there is to it. So if bounty hunting seems like something that you might be into, give that a try. Or maybe my method sucks. I don't know. Why don't you let me know down in the comments? Do you have a different method? Does something work better for you? Let me know. I'm interested to hear. But anyways, that's going to conclude this bounty hunting tutorial video. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time. Go ahead and stick a like on this video if you liked it. If you disliked it, well, I guess you know what to do. And go ahead and subscribe to my channel. That helps me out a lot. And I'll see you guys in the next one.